Yo, what's up guys, welcome to my new series where I'm going to be screaming legendary players and showing you where they went wrong. And these are all fairly low level legendary players, and I want to show you mistakes you make during a game and how to actually improve them. So we're going to go through it together, I think pretty fast paced, and I'm just going to show you how. Before we get things started, I have a Brawl Pass Plus giveaway in the description if you join the Discord, so remember to do that. I will be forever thankful. It ends in maybe 7 days. Okay, starting off here, we have our drafts. I go Chuck here, and they give me a pretty free Chuck, but the only problem is this Cordelius. So I'm going to teach you how to defend against a Chuck as Cordelius, okay? Because this Cordelius did it wrong. First of all, we have an amazing Otis pick. If you pick Otis and Chuck, there's not much the enemy team can do. You have defense, you have insane offense. It is just wild. So I go in here, right? We're gonna rewind. Okay, I go in here. Cord doesn't get the super off immediately and then supers me when I'm low HP, right? That is not what you want to do. As Cord, I'm gonna walk you through what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to wait until you get super, and as soon as you get super, you want to just stay right where the safe is and wait for Chuck to come. And when Chuck is coming, you have to you have to wait until you are about far enough that he can't hit you, right? And you want to either kill him and run up, or if you think you can't kill him, you just want to run up one of the other two lanes and then go down here to our safe and either kill the defender, which would be the Otis, which this Edgar's struggling with, which would completely change the game if this Otis died, or get safe defense, and this Cord did none of those. Instead, if we can rewind the clip, this Cord basically every single time waits until I'm really close and the Cord is about to die and then supers me, which both wastes super and just literally gives me like free time to kill him. And another great thing about taking Chuck into Realm is that you're basically preventing him from getting any super for the next
9 seconds.
And if you go in on the enemy safe and die, you have a higher chance of regaining super. Now we're going to go over initial lanes, okay? So I was really smart. I went on the right, predicting that Cord would be on the right or Edgar would be on the right, but sadly Nani was on the right. So this is actually a mistake from them. If they let Nani go on my lane, then the Piper gets a free lane. Look at this, Piper just gets immediate safe damage. But now I'm on the Edgar, and I actually want to be on the Edgar. Do you know why? Because now he just fed me 4 pulls. So within the first maybe 15-20 seconds of the game, I have my post set up. That's what you want to do on Chuck. Realistically, I would have Otis laning at, if I was the enemy team, I would have Nani on Piper, obviously, which they try and do now, Edgar on me and just try and have the Edgar kill me, and then Otis, let the Otis walk down and just have 2 people on me and just kill me and just walk up, because then the Otis will be forced to walk back down. So here I'm laning the Cord, who has about the same range as me, so I can literally just walk them down. Big mistake from the Cord. And look, this is a mistake from the Nani. The Nani basically has a free lane if she walks to the left, but instead she decides to challenge the Otis. Not only that, but she decides to challenge the Otis close range. Why is the Nani so close, and why is the Nani not on Piper lane? Right? So then the Nani has to walk back. So if you were the Nani in this situation where you're literally coming here, you go on the left and keep Piper lane, instead of going into this Otis where you won't win because Nani shots don't hit in the middle zone, or I mean don't like fit as well. So I think a fundamental flaw in their draft is that they don't have enough range. They get severely outranged, which would be fine if we didn't have an Otis. But because we have an Otis, they can't just go hyper aggressive and try and win, because look, Otis just hyper stuns him. Yeah, just like that. So it's really hard to win if you don't have range into a Piper and if you're going aggro into an Otis. But they really should have won if the Cord played correctly. Okay, now we have this match. This match was a complete and utter outdraft, okay? I outdrafted them 100%. They went Charlie and Ash, 4th and 5th pick. And to that, you can just go Ems. Just go Ems, okay? Because she pierces Charlie pets, and the best counter, in my opinion, to Ash is either Buzz or Ems. And Ems is way easier to play and a lot better in this scenario. So we let him overextend, and he just hopefully dies. And so we have a meeple here, so you can see why they picked Charlie and Ash, both amazing into the meeple. And lastly, we have a Griff. Usually the Griff should be doing a lot better because he should be breaking walls, and that means he's killing the Ash because the Ash can't do anything, and he's killing the Rico because the Rico can't do anything. But what I've noticed, if you look at these wall breaks, they're breaking 6 blocks. Do you know what that means? He's not hitting the piggy bank. So you have to hit the piggy bank now because it got so nerfed that if you don't, and we're gonna rewind that clip a little bit, but if you don't hit the piggy bank, it literally will do literally nothing. And then look, so right here, Rico is super duper out of positioning. He's not right here, but look at where he goes, okay? He goes down and around. Why would you go around when the enemy team has the ball? So he can just pass to me and I can get a pretty free trick shot there. That's another tip. You can trick shot across that wall. Super easy to trick your opponents like that if they just have no game sense. Now let's go right here again where Ash has super. Ash uses super right where the Ems is. Don't do that. If you're Ash and you have a good matchup into, for example, Meeple, which you do, you have to use your super on the Meeple when everyone else is either dead or away, because that's the only way you're gonna get any value out of your super, which needs to get a lot of value because it's giving you rage and it's basically the only reason you went Ash here. All right, so another thing is you need to be very strategical with your Griff supers. If you can hit 2 people, 100% go for it. Right here, he should walk to the right and just super, but he doesn't. That would have killed Ash and kept this Rico either running away or very low. All right, this is another mistake. Look at the Charlie. Look at how she hypercharges, okay? She walks in and just aims at the bush. Why would you do that? What is the point of aiming at the bush? What you want to do on Charlie is you can walk up to them because they're going to be cocooned anyway. Or what she should have done is she should have walked up, put her spiders down, and then immediately cocooned him, okay? You can't blind cocoon a hypercharge. That is the stupidest thing ever. And now right here, Ash makes a very good play. He sees that I'm down here dealing with the Rico, so he decides to throw his hypercharge on a very weak Griff and my Meeple, getting him insane positioning and eventually ending in a goal. If I could give one reason for this, it would honestly be my own fault. I should have been on the Ash and just let this other guy take the Rico, because I am the counter to Ash. He is not the counter to Ash. In fact, he is countered by Ash. So that was really dumb of me. This is a big mistake by Meeple. Look at how Meeple uses his hyper. What is the point of that if Charlie has cocoons? You need to remember what your enemy team has to do against you and just not do that. And then, oh, that's another bad play. All right, watch this Ash, right? He throws his rats on a Meeple that's already dead and doesn't see me in the bush. He doesn't think to say, what if there's an Ems there? Or why am I throwing my rats on a Meeple that is literally dead? So you have to have a lot of, I'm not saying a lot, but you have to have the most basic amount of game sense to understand Ash. And okay, wait, look, this Griff did it again. This Griff, bro, like if this Griff could not do that, like look at where he throws his piggy bank and he just never breaks it. What is the point of that? Anyway, right, so you have to have the most basic, and he doesn't even break the wall, bro. You have to have the most basic game sense ever to play Ash, and it was just not there in that match. All right, this next match, spoilers, is actually a draw, so I'm going to be going over it hopefully a little bit faster. I realize here that I need to absolutely just pinch out this Ash at the very start. So we need to get him, like we need to get him, and we need to get him right away. We do, and since their main tank is gone, we can just all walk up. Well, like, what are they gonna do? And this Meeple goes up, passes to me, and this was a big mistake by me, so let's rewind that. When this Meeple passes to me, I could have trick shot it. Look at that. I could have totally trick shotted it in, but instead I got too obsessed with killing, and not only did I not score it, but I missed the Ash entirely. Sometimes you have to think more about the objective than the kills itself. And this was a terrible play by Griff, by the way. So let's look at what he does again. He immediately piggy banks the left side, which no one is at, instead of piggy banking the middle goal. The most important wall break you could ever do in a game is wall breaking their goal. Like, do you see that 5 block tiles or those 2 on the sides? Those are the ones that you want to break, okay? And I did a really bad hyper and I left my teammates with Ash alone. Okay, so now he Ash hypers without realizing there's an Ems in the bush. He has to realize there's an Ems in a bush because you can't rat when someone with Pierce is near you. All right, here we're walking up and I realize I can just go on to Ash because he doesn't have any range. Like, what's he gonna do? And I walk up with my hyper. I think I sadly die here. Oh no, I'm left on 100 HP and I have to keep my range. How do we not score here? Okay, he somehow dies. You need to understand your range against Ash. Like, it's extremely important to do so. All right, look, we're in a winning position again. How do we not score? And then Rico kills him, and then Rico kills me. Oh my lord. Okay, for our very last one, because yes, this had to go to a 4th set. Let's see what happens here. All right, this Griff is still doing it wrong. At the very start of the game, he should be wall breaking wherever this Rico is and like actually hitting his gadget. I don't know if he understands that. So now I did something really bad. Let's rewind. I completely overextended because this Meeple is like, okay, first of all, look at where this Meeple is.
Let's follow him throughout the game. He goes up here, right? Doesn't ever go up. He's literally in our goal. Like, he's in our goal. How does this... He only gets deeper with time and he hasn't been hit yet. How does this happen, right?
So anyway, I go up and I die. And then he decides it's time to go up as soon as Ash is right there. And we all die, and I think this is a goal. All right, somehow they did not score. They low-key fumbled. By the way, guys, let me know if you want like a draft version of this, or if this is terrible and I should never do it again, or if I should do it again. Really, whatever you want. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. So we have a really good position here. He finally shoots the piggy bank, which is a sign that we're gonna win, you know. Meeple, once again, does possibly the worst super I've ever seen. If he places it on the right L wall, like, I can probably kill both of them, right? But instead he places it down there where he can't even hit anyone. I don't get the point of it. I really don't get the point of it. But somehow... Wow. Okay, so Charlie did an even worse play. Not once does she dodge Meeple. Okay, 1 tap, 2 taps somehow, and a 3rd tap. How does that happen? You have rats. Like, please, bro, please, like, avoid him. All right, here Rico does a really stupid play. Why would you try and 3v1 with your hyper? Like, there's probably a different time and place where he could have used that hyper and literally won the game. You have to be really conscious of how you're using your hyper. And this game, by the way, would have been so much easier if I was on Speed Gear Ems. Speed Gear Ems is like literally, I think, the best thing in the game. Like, she's so good. It's amazing. You should always be running Speed Gear on Ems. How do they not score here? What happens in the next like 5 seconds so where they don't... Oh, that happens. Okay, well, that was a pretty good hyper. He finally learned to put it on the L wall. That was amazing. Yeah, always run Speed Gear Ems. Always run that one Rico gadget where it's like the bouncy. The only reason I ran knockback this time was because of the fact I thought Griff would break all the walls. Okay, so now Meeple does a misplay here. Let's go over what that was. They literally could have won, but this Meeple, instead of what he should be doing, which is either walking up to the Ash and shooting him, or alternatively, picking up the ball, shooting, and then killing the Ash. So shooting the ball to the Ash and then killing him because he one-shots him. If I had to say why they lost, it was probably just because of a draft dip. What was I gonna say? Yeah, do not, under any circumstances, go Ash if Ems is open and we have last pick. I get the reason they went 2 spawnables for the Meeple, but it's just not gonna work.